I'm Mike Sparks from Mid-10 Autos. Today we're going to show you how to inspect the car. This is a BMW 328 CI Sports Coupe. We're going to show you how to check it out. If you're purchasing a vehicle, maybe it might help you be able to get a good deal and how to save a little bit of money. Now, one thing I always do is make sure all your fluids are topped off. Check your oil, make sure your oil looks good. Look at the clarity of the oil, make sure it's good. This one's had a fresh oil change. Like I said, make sure your fluids are topped off. You can see your windshield washers topped off. Sometimes you can look inside and look for visible signs of sludge. This car looks good. That's kind of hard to detect, but usually I have a vehicle inspected, but if you're doing it yourself, you know, there's just a few signs that might be able to teach you how to save some money. Another thing I do is look down the body lines here, see if you see any chips right here where the hood's been off, where it's been painted. A lot of times you can feel right here the body lines where any paint marks where it's been painted. This car hasn't been painted. Look down these bolts right here, see how these haven't been taken off. These aren't wore. Look for all your plastic grommets. Make sure all your push pins are in down through here. Then again, check your other side. Feel the paint. Feel if it feels like silk. You know a lot of times it hadn't been painted. Then again, check these. Look down the side of the body where you see the light reflected. See if you see any waves in the paint. Can you get a shot down the side? This car obviously hadn't had any paint work, never been painted. Also look underneath, see if it's got any old drip. Check your tires, see the tread on it, the depth. Look at your interior, your brake pedal. A lot of times if a car is saying it's got 30,000 miles, but yet your brake pedal, the rubber and so forth is worn, that's an indicator. You don't see much odometer fraud these days, but it's still a good indicator of things you can look at. Flood damage has been a big concern for a lot of folks down in the south, around New Orleans and the coast. Usually in your trunk and areas like that, you can see. Another thing you could do, you could feel up in the dash and feel any spots where you're catching any dirt or anything. This particular car is hard to get in there, but you could feel in there. Look underneath the seat for any rust. Check your trunk space. We're going to try to wrap this up. You know, one thing I was telling you is look for your paint. One thing I wanted to be able to show you, see the reflection in this car. So you see it's almost a mirror type. You can almost see any ripples, which this car doesn't show any. Doesn't show any dings. But try to use the sun as a reflection off the body, and it almost works as a mirror. And this car is smooth, but a lot of times if it's had previous body work, it's going to show problem. The trunk real quick. Look at the trunk. Check out the spare. See if there's any. Make sure you got a spare. Obviously, make sure your jacks here, the tools. This car has a road kit, tool kit here. If you can see how clean this car is. It was this clean when we got it. If you really want to get in depth, you could pull back some of this material. Look in here, feel up underneath here, and make sure there's not any signs of a lot of dirt or grit that shouldn't be up there. That would indicate, some water damage or something like that. But I'd always recommend you taking it to either the BMW dealership, for that matter, the Ford dealership. Nissan could inspect this car, Napa, Goodyear. I'd also recommend don't use your brother-in-law, don't use a buddy, always use somebody reputable. There's other areas that we couldn't get into. We couldn't really see. It's hard to see the brakes. This particular car, you can see some of the brakes. They're in good shape. The tires, you could check the tread depth. I'm just going to use a little old penny right here. This car is so low profile, it's really hard to see. This car has a brand new set of tires, so these tires are brand new. You can see the tips on there. But I'd recommend you taking the car, having them put it on a lift, look for any previous body damage, any frame damage, look at your brakes, the steering, tie rod ends. Have them inspect all that. Also, a Carfax or an auto check. Auto check sometimes is even better than a Carfax.